Okay, so tell me, is this normal? No. Is this normal? No. Then how about this? Probably not. Okay, but what about this? It's 2024 and I feel like social media is still pretty weird.
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
Not bad, not good, just hella weird, because its potential negative effects are now more apparent than ever. We know that spending no more than 5 minutes on Twitter, or X, will make you regret having eyes, and spending time on Discord will significantly impact your ability to function as a normal human being, or taking a shower. And yet, our dependency on them as an integral part of our lives, as a sort of escape from reality, has also never been greater. Not only is it super accessible, but it is very, very normalized. It's weird because in its infancy, social media was designed with the goal of connecting people, but its growth relies on aggressively monetizing our attention, our time, to keep us on screens for as long as possible, resulting in the biggest disconnect human beings have ever felt in history. Now, you could argue that it had to be designed this way, because otherwise how else would social media companies generate revenue and push new features, right? Overconsumption of media is now at an all-time high, and algorithms are optimizing for clickbait and retention. In the past 2 years alone, I've noticed a surge of, well, whatever this is, because this is what seems to keep you and I on screens. Now, before we continue, I just want to address that some of you wanted me to stop using that bruh sound effect. It's a bit annoying and honestly just a bit played out, so I wanted to apologize.
Psych!
Now, I think it's important to note that social media companies don't actually do this to harm you. Of course, they know it harms you, but unfortunately, cash money baby. Dino Ambrosi, in his TED Talk, The Battle for Your Time, sums it up pretty well. He says it's because of a business model that has incentives which are fundamentally misaligned with our well-being. Now, I'ma be honest, while writing for this video, I could not last more than 5 minutes without opening Instagram. If I had to think too hard about a certain concept, or just use my brain, I'd find myself unconsciously scrolling through reels. It was only after realizing how much time I've just wasted that I'd throw my phone away and try and get back to writing, but this time with the guilt that I've not only lost my focus, but in a way, feeling like I let myself consume so much content for which I now feel 10 times worse. So what do? Well, I go back on social media to distract myself from these feelings. Okay, that's a cool story, bro. But how the hell did it get to this point, and why does technology keep screwing us over? For that, we need to go back to the early 2000s, back to the good old days, back when the internet was fun with just a tiny bit less capitalism. Now, during this time, the internet was going through an identity shift. It was moving away from these colorful, static HTML web pages that were scattered and hard to navigate, and becoming more interactive, collaborative, and centralized. It marked a significant change in how web technologies like Flash and JavaScript were being used to deliver information, and we quickly realized, hey, wait a second. We can create a whole-ass interactive application straight on the web? Improved development techniques allowed pages to load and update content dynamically based on the user's interaction and without the need for a full page reload. For example, if you smash that subscribe button, your browser will update your status without needing to reload that entire page, and that is pretty damn cool.
Oh my god!
Now, this shift in thinking was often referred to as Web 2.0, and it had one big focus: user-generated content. In other words, the internet was becoming 10 billion times easier to use for everyone. Straight up easier to share and view content. Soon enough, blogging and social networking platforms started popping the hell off, and we got things like MySpace and Facebook. People enjoyed expressing themselves. But of course, it was also an opportunity for these social media companies to make a ton of money. But if they were free to use, how did they make money? Well, let's take Facebook as an example.
But enough with the fun and games. It's time for everyone's favorite. Work.
At first, they kinda tried everything. Anyone remember Facebook credits? But eventually, they found that the best thing to sell was, well, us. By signing up, social media companies were guaranteed at least 3 key pieces of personal information. Our full names, our date of birth, and our emails, which of course helped sell targeted ads. And this sold like hotcakes. That is, if the hotcakes were completely stolen. Now, without targeted ads, the internet probably won't exist, or at least not be free, but they're also partly responsible for our increased screen time. Because the more screen time, the more ads, and the more ads, the more cash monies. It's a bit of a messed up cycle. We contribute and engage with content. The content is incentivized to be attention-grabbing and retention-focused. The data is then harvested for targeted advertising, and the resulting ad revenue fuels this continuous grip on our brains. Now fast forward to 2024, and social media has become even easier to use and consume content. And with 2 decades of fine-tuning, it's fair to say that this business model has now reached its final form. Kinda like 6 Paths Sage Mode Naruto. It's literally designed not to be beaten. And well, we're like Kid Sakura. Or Tenten. Okay, maybe not Tenten. Trying to fight off 1,000 different pieces of information from right within our hands, and we lose every single time. Now that's because their strategies often use principles from behavioral psychology. The ability to scroll infinitely is a textbook variable reward system because the fact that we don't know what comes next keeps us scrolling for more. Push notifications trigger the brain's release of dopamine, and even autoplay videos conveniently reduce the effort required for us to consume even more content, all as a clever way to increase retention. Countless studies link high screen time with issues in mental health and the ability to focus, because not only does an overuse of these platforms impact the way we think, our worldviews, and self-worth, but it makes it so bloody hard to find and achieve things that matter to us. Now you could be sitting there and thinking, hey, I don't have a problem with social media. And you know what? That's fair. Actually, that's insane. Please teach me your secrets. I don't think social media affects everyone the same way, but it's got me thinking, could there be an alternative business model? A model in which its incentives are very much aligned with our own well-being, while at the same time still being able to generate the same amount of money for companies to grow? I don't know. And it might just be a stupid question, because big profits and human well-being don't really mix well together. But what does look promising though is the recent rise of successful content creators that seem to focus on authenticity and storytelling. Those that seemingly break the traditional algorithm, like Sam Sulek. Perhaps it's a sign that people are also just sick of so much over-edited content, but only time will tell if this is also just a trend. In the meantime, I'm just chillin', figuring out how to make this social media thing work best for me, because I don't think social media is inherently bad, and I think we can all agree with this. It's great for knowing what my close friends are up to, and a great way to start a conversation. It's also just a great source of entertainment, and makes it so easy to learn new things. A lot of you also need it for your businesses and art. But it seems that whenever I open these apps, without any particular reason, which by the way is every single time, these platforms will instead create that reason for me, and create an even bigger reason for me to stay. Like this one user suggests, I'm trying to think of it less like a dopamine vending machine, and more like a tool. This way I try to open these apps with a purpose in mind, and once it fulfills this purpose, then I close it. It makes it sort of harder to use. This of course is disgustingly hard. Addiction is real, and my dopamine reward systems have been pretty messed up. So it probably won't change overnight. Now if you've made it this far into the video, then firstly, I love you.
I love you.
And secondly, I encourage you to disable that autoplay and not go on to the next video. even if you don't have a problem with social media. Take a bit of a break. Your time is valuable, yes, but a happy brain is pretty cool too. Trust me. The grass has been looking extra beautiful lately.